As you know, this is an interactive newscast, and you know how I know that it's interactive? Because during every commercial break, Maddie Gardner is right over there at this computer just typing away.
I like to talk
and
to
responding.
people.
So say something to us. She'll respond. We'll all respond. And we're going to have some fun.
Yep, use our hashtag 4 to 5 to stay connected. All right, let's get to the big news this afternoon. NC State and UNC Chapel Hill parents will now be allowed to watch home football games. They petitioned to Governor Roy Cooper to be able to go into the actual stadiums.
Yeah, NC State is now allowed up to 350 people for tomorrow's game against Wake Forest. A spokesperson says they'll sell tickets to 250 people, or 2 tickets per player. Then they'll give the other 100 tickets to Wake Forest to sell to their parents. This is the first game of the season for NC State after their season opener against Virginia Tech was pushed back 2 weeks because of the virus. In a statement, Wake Forest head coach Dave Clausen said, "Our program is grateful for the decision from the Department of North Carolina Health and Human Services to allow 350 fans at the game tomorrow night and next week. We are appreciative of NC State sharing that allotment with us so that we can allocate tickets to our student athletes' families."
Tomorrow afternoon, App State will take on Marshall in West Virginia, and fans are able to go to that game at a reduced capacity. It's the first time that App State fans have been able to see the team play in person. Only parents of junior and senior players are allowed to go to the games in Boone. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson found out a parent's plan for this season.
Maddie, App State wide receiver Thomas Hennigan is from Greensboro. He tells me he really wants his parents to be able to watch him play in the stands. Now he says, "I know my parents want to be there more than I want them to be there." And after talking to his mom, that's true. Lisa Hennigan tells me she was able to go to the game last Saturday against Charlotte because Thomas is a senior. App State is planning for juniors and senior parents to attend home games, but just like most of us know during this pandemic, that can change at any moment. Mom tells me no matter what, she's going to her son's games this season.
I told my husband, I said, you know what, even if we have to just go park and find a spot and just look out into the stadium, we could do that. We can go to the parking deck. We don't even have to be in the stadium. I had a plan, and that was going to be my plan. It is so important. I mean, your kid's there. You want to be there.
The Hennigans are heading to Marshall. App State plays Marshall tomorrow. And Hennigan also tells me that extended family from Iowa is coming to town. You can catch that game, App State and Marshall, right here on WFMY News 2 tomorrow afternoon at 3:30.
Amanda, thanks. Some Guilford County students could return to the classroom next month after Governor Cooper announced Plan A will be allowed for elementary students. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras was there when Greek organizations donated money for school laptops today. She also talked about the district's re-entry plans. Plan A does not limit classroom capacity, but Dr. Contreras says current capacity limits will continue to be a part of the district's plan.
For us not to social distance when there is no vaccine yet would be absolutely reckless, and I will not be reckless with the lives of my own child or anyone else's child or our staff members.
The district still plans to stagger re-entry for pre-K. Kindergartners will have the option to return first. The board could vote on that next week. We'll have parent reaction tonight at 5 and 6.
Well, some Piedmont Triad school districts say they are going to stick with their current plans for now. Here are the schools who will continue with what they have in place. Alamance Burlington schools will stay in Plan C. Mount Airy City Schools will continue in Plan B, and Thomasville City Schools is sticking with Plan C2. Randolph County schools are already in Plan B, but they're taking another look at plans for the district. The Winston-Salem-Forsyth County School Superintendent Dr. Angela Harrison says the district is not prepared to move from remote learning to Plan A right now, but they are talking about a gradual entry into Plan B. So we ask you if you would send your child back to school if classrooms reopened in your district. WFMY News 2's digital guru Brian Bennett has been keeping up with your comments from our Facebook page. Brian, I'm curious to know how most parents feel about this.
Well, you know, Maddie, some parents are like, listen, I'm ready for my child to get out this house and get back to school, while other parents aren't quite ready to make that jump quite yet. Let's talk about the comments instead of, me just babbling on. We're going to start with Christy. She says, my fourth grader will be back full time. He needs his education. Sabrina says, I have a ninth grader with asthma and twins in the fourth. It's a challenge, but I don't think I will be sending them back yet. Joanne says no, she's just not ready. Rachel says mine will be going back. And Sherry says my child is 12 and her school district is already operating under Plan B. I think it would be good for her to go every day. Virtual every other day is a pain. And lastly, Brittany says no, she's not sending her child back quite yet. So the parents have spoken, Maddie.
All right, Brian, thanks for sharing those comments with us. Hey, keep chatting with us about this story on our live stream. You can find us on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, but use our hashtag 4to5.
We better get the jackets out. Let me tell you, you look at some of these overnight lows coming up and you'll say we skipped fall, jumping into a cold winter forecast. It seems like, yeah, colder air back behind the front that has moved by and cleared out all the rain. Thank goodness. Temperatures right now, they're comfortable, mid 70s. You can't really beat that. A little breezy out there, but not horrible. Tonight, we're going to see gradual clearing. It will get cooler. Overnight lows at 54. We'll go cooler than that by the end of the weekend. 64 for tomorrow. Again, that breeze will continue. It'll be a little bit windy at times. We look for sunny to partly cloudy skies for your Saturday. Look at the radar right now. The last little bit of rain, if we go out to a wider shot, you can see a little unsettled east of the triangle. But for us, we're looking like we're in pretty good shape. That heavier rain is off the coast there. You can see it way out into the Atlantic and continuing to move away. So colder air comes in courtesy of a high pressure that is to our north. And when we say cold, we mean it is cooling us down. Look at these temperatures, mid 60s for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Those overnight lows, the coldest, will be Sunday morning, Monday morning at 48 and 47, then 44. The bottom drops out for Tuesday morning. It will be sunny Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll go back to the mid to upper 70s for highs for next week. Fall is here.
All right, now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. We start with a story in South Carolina, very alarming. 2 young brothers are missing. Police say someone took 9-year-old Matthew and 7-year-old Jerry Kinman from their Aiken bedroom during the night. Matthew has blonde hair, blue eyes. He's 4 feet tall and 90 pounds. Jerry has brown hair, brown eyes, is 4 feet tall and 55 pounds. Police say they'd like to find and question Nancy Kinman. It's not clear her relationship to the boys, but they do share a last name. She was last seen driving a maroon Toyota Camry with a South Carolina tag SIY391. There's a new chapter in the TikTok saga. The feds say you won't be able to download the Chinese-owned apps like TikTok and WeChat starting Sunday. That does not mean TikTok will disappear on Sunday. The app will still work for at least a few more weeks, but the Commerce Department says crucial elements needed to run the apps will be prohibited after November 12th. WeChat, on the other hand, faces a full ban on Sunday. A federal judge blocked controversial changes to the Postal Service that have slowed mail nationwide. The judge in Washington state called the changes a politically motivated attack on the efficiency of the Postal Service before the November election. 14 states challenged the Postal Service's leave behind policy that allowed trucks to leave postal facilities on time, regardless of whether there was more mail to load. The states also want the USPS to treat election mail as first-class mail. The Justice Department is now suggesting prosecutors charge violent protesters with a crime called seditious conspiracy. The federal sedition law is rarely used, but it's aimed at charging people with overthrowing the government. A memo sent to attorneys general said the charge should be sought in certain cases. In it, Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen said the statute does not require proof of a plot, despite what the name might suggest. We'll be right back. A heavy metal band's lead singer says he's not going to take it anymore. Dee Snider of Twisted Sister condemned anti-maskers for using his band's song "We're Not Going to Take It" during a protest in a Florida Target. You might have seen the video of the demonstration posted to Reddit. Snyder called the protest moronic and said the group does not have their permission or his blessing to use the song. Target was fined for not enforcing the county's mask law. Protesters were mailed citations.
Well, in Indonesia, they're punishing people who violate their mask order by requiring them to dig graves for people who have died from the coronavirus. The country is reportedly low on grave diggers, and 8 people were ordered just last week to dig graves. The country made masks mandatory on April 5th. So I ask you for your thoughts about this on my Facebook page. Let's take a look at your comments this afternoon. Bobby Odom said, well, I guess since they are low on grave diggers, you have to find them somewhere. Who better to get to do that than the people who violated their mask mandate? It may have a psychological effect on them and change their minds. He went on to say that it might change their minds about wearing the mask after seeing the ones that have passed away from the virus. Tammy Teague says this is totally wrong. Wearing or not wearing a mask should not be a punishable crime. This is ridiculous. And Greg Klein adds, I think it is a great idea. Maybe the violators will learn a good lesson, and this will help with the labor shortage. So not fining people in the United States or North Carolina, no punishments like this. This is pretty extreme.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to weigh in on whether I believe that you should be fined for wearing a mask, but this would definitely deter me from not wearing a mask anymore. I'm going to be wearing a mask everywhere I go if that's the case.
Well, I just do it because it's the rules. I like to follow the rules, and someone has asked me to do that to protect other people. So that's why I wear a mask.
It's getting to the point now where all I would have to do is write the word mask with a question mark on Facebook page, and I would have about 6,000 comments. That's all you got to do. It's like a trigger word these days.
Yeah, well, I don't think that people would feel the same way in Indonesia. Maybe they will change minds with this pretty intense punishment they have going on. But we want to hear your thoughts. Use our hashtag 4to5. Join our chat on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We'll see you there. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. The home of the Greensboro Swarm will be used as an early voting site as part of their Swarm to the Polls campaign. Voters can vote early at the field house at the Greensboro Coliseum complex. Early voting begins on October 15th. It ends on the 31st at the field house. You can vote from 8 until 7:30 on the weekdays and then 8 to 5 on weekends. In Mecklenburg County, election officials confirmed that a worker mailed out 2 absentee ballots to voters. Employees apparently misplaced some labels on return envelopes. Officials say those envelopes were then reprinted and the return envelopes were labeled properly and sent out to voters. So anyone who did get that original mislabeled ballot cannot vote twice. That's important to note here. The Director of Elections says each ballot has a unique barcode for each voter, and once a barcode is registered, duplicates cannot be counted. President Donald Trump tweeted about the incident earlier this week, saying some people in the great state of North Carolina have been sent 2 ballots, rigged election in waiting. State Attorney General Josh Stein responded to the president, saying this mistake in Mecklenburg County affected only a small percentage of voters, and there are protections to ensure no one can vote twice.
Well, comic book fans, they are starving these days. You see, it's been a while since they've been able to gather for a Comic Con anywhere, that's for sure. Well, get ready, Lexington. A COVID-conscious Comic Con is headed your way. I spoke with Stephen Meyer, who owns several comic book stores, about his Mask Con 2020 idea. Well, Stephen, I was a comic kid, that's for sure. I was huge into the Marvel Universe before it was called the Marvel Universe. And this is really cool that, and even the name, Mask Con 2020. Tell me how you guys are going to handle this with our current situation.
Well, so many folks lost so much of their income in the comic industry and the movie theater industry this year due to the repercussions of COVID-19. I don't think there's been a full-scale comic convention since March, that we wanted to give people a safe and sanitary environment where they could still get together, dig through some comic boxes, meet with local artists, and really make the most of an event. And so what we're going to have is at the drive-in, the converted drive-in at the Lexington Cinemas, we're going to have an outdoor comic book convention, which you usually think an event centered around paper products might not be the best idea, but we're doing the best we can this year, just like anybody else.
We're going to look at some pictures, or have been looking at pictures of what you guys used to do. Obviously, this one's different, but what do you think the reaction will be from the fans? I would assume at this point they're probably starved for a Comic-Con.
Definitely. I mean, there are people that plan out their whole year, their spending, about how they're going to be spending going to comic conventions, and they've just been chomping at the bit to get out there and find those key issues or meet their next favorite artist and get a custom piece of artwork done. So I'm really hoping that the outdoor environment this year will bring the familiarity of a comic show, but bring it together with more of a fair-like atmosphere.
Well, I, as a comic book fan, am very excited about this. Thanks for taking time out. Good luck. This is going to be interesting and maybe the wave of the future. Yeah, and so that's, I mean, that it is what it is, right? If you want to get your fix of comic books, that's what you got to do. It is October 10th. You do have to buy tickets because they have to keep account of how many people are in there because of restrictions. And we've linked you to that particular webpage where you can do that at WFNYnews2.com in this story. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. You take what you can get.
What would you choose to wear?
Oh, you have to do a costume.
Which superhero?
And I mean, it has to be, right, mask associated, so. I think I'm going to do, he's not a superhero, but I think I would do Buzz Lightyear, so I could wear like the big, like space helmet, because that's, right, that's like a mask.
That is a good one. I think I'm really into Stranger Things right now, and they've been making appearances at Comic-Cons, maybe not the Lexington one, but several Comic-Cons. I would like maybe be 11 with a mask.
Oh.
Can you imagine if she showed up at that Comic-Con?
Millie Bobby
People
Brown?
would go crazy.
Crazy.
Yes. Crazy.
Text her, Chilton. Let her know.
Yeah, I got it right here.
She can bring some Eggo waffles. That's how you can entice her here.
That's right.
That's right. It's a good question, though, Chad.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
So what is it? To the future?
To infinity and beyond. Oh my
infinity.
goodness!
I haven't been a kid since this tall.
You're a disgrace. We'll be right back. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. A reverend at a church in Maine is asking his congregation not to wear face masks to services. Todd Bell served as the officiant for a wedding back in August that has now been linked to more than 170 coronavirus cases and 7 deaths. None of those 7 victims actually went to the wedding. Bell's attorneys say there is no face covering requirement at the school that the church operates. So this is how coronavirus works, right? We've seen this, it might start in one situation. They're calling this wedding a super spreader event, but then it goes out into the community and you spread it to someone else who spreads it to someone else. And now 7 people are dead.
Such a tough situation when you think about going to, a wedding or a church service, because you want to be there in person, right? You want to be a part of it because it's just not the same, in my opinion, as watching a live stream. But then you hear stories like this and you remember that this is a real thing.
Right.
It's so sad that, and Maddie said this, but it's so sad that the people that ended up passing away from this that had nothing to do with that wedding, it's just, that shows you how important it is to try to stop the spread. It's the people that you could affect, maybe even 1 or 2 people down the line, that really our responsibility is for everybody and not just for ourselves.
All right, this forecast, Eric, the rain went away, which is nice.
Yeah, we finally got rid of the rain. Now cooler air is going to move in, and some people, it's funny, I talk about this on Facebook, and some people are super happy about this, some are not. And it all depends if you're a warm weather person or not, because this is a dramatic change for us coming in behind this cold front. Temperatures now are comfortable, right? You step outside, 76, that is not bad. Elizabeth City has the same reading as we do. So does Columbia, South Carolina. That's unusual, actually. 73 in Asheville, Wilmington at 71. Satellite and radar, any rain left over is in eastern North Carolina. We're gradually seeing some clearing overnight, but that cooler air is coming in courtesy of the high pressure and the clockwise flow of winds. It also will be a little bit breezy as we head through the weekend, too. I think by Sunday, winds will start to relax a little bit. Not really windy, but just breezy. And then a quick look as we zoom back out, that cooler air stays with us for the majority of the next at least 3 or 4 days. We've got mid 60s for highs, upper 40s for lows. That'll be Saturday night into Sunday morning, also into Monday and Tuesday morning. The coldest overnight low is 44 Tuesday morning with lots of sunshine. We'll bounce back to the mid to upper 70s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're still sunny to partly cloudy for the entire 7-day forecast. We'll be back.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. There's now gingerbread Oreo cookies, people.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
I saw the gingerbread Oreos on Tanya Rivera's Facebook page, and I am here for it. Ice cold milk and a gingerbread Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
Hey there, mic check, 1, 2, 3, mic check, hello, hello.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check 4 to 5. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silver here with Maddie Gardner, Eric Chilton. There was a lot of energy in that.
It was so much energy.
Did I blow your eardrum
No,
out at
but
all?
out of the gate. I like it, Chad.
I just, you gotta build up the energy. This is a Friday, and people love Fridays. And the weather outside is beautiful. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, and we're also excited because this is an interactive news show. We get to chat with you on the live stream, so you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you want to make a comment, just use our hashtag. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, 4 to 5. Well, let's start this off by getting to your 4 to 5 roundup. Greensboro's open streets will continue through October 3rd, but only on Saturday. So a change here. From 5 until 11, part of Elm Street will be shut down to traffic, so businesses can set up shop on the sidewalks and people can walk in the street. It's a domino effect. 19 restaurants and 22 retailers are involved. Parking is free all day on Saturday downtown. Masks are required and social distancing is encouraged. The extra unemployment money from the federal disaster relief program has run out in North Carolina, according to a site that tracks jobless benefits. You might remember President Donald Trump approved the additional $300 a week in benefits last month after the $600 a week expired. The Lost Wages Assistance Program paid out nearly $16 billion in benefits. Well, Walmart is raising pay for 165,000 workers, and they're adding some new positions. The chain is introducing a team-based operating model similar to what they use at Sam's Clubs and neighborhood markets. This means more skill will be required from workers, and they'll be compensated. Wages for team lead roles start between $18 and $21 an hour and go up to $30 an hour. The minimum wage will also increase to $11 to $15 an hour for bakery and deli workers.
FedEx is hiring more than 1,900 seasonal employees in Greensboro alone. They'll be package handlers and could turn into full-time positions as demand grows. Part-time positions include day and night shift, health benefits, and employee discounts. To apply, find this story on our website. Senator Chuck Schumer revealed a plan eliminating some student debt. The plan would eliminate up to $50,000 in debt per student. He says the plan shows how executive authority under the Higher Education Act should be used for the next presidential term. The proposal would eliminate tax liability for federal student loan borrowers. It'll mean complete forgiveness of student loans for more than 75% of borrowers nationwide, and forgive at least some debt for 95% of borrowers. Schumer adds the student loan crisis will be top priority for lawmakers in the next session, which starts in January. We asked you for your opinion on this idea. WFMY News 2's Brian Bennett joins us. Brian, I would assume that most people would be for this, but people on Facebook are always surprising me.
Yes, Chad, and they surprised me too because I was expecting to see a lot more yeses. They did have some points, I want to dive right into it because a lot of people did have a lot of solid points. We're going to start with Mr. Brenner, who says, sure, well, he was being a jokester. He says, sure, if they will also forgive my mortgage. And moving right along with Erica, who says, yes, for those frontline healthcare workers, while Lynn says, no, but maybe lower and remove any interest. So that was an interesting comment. Neil says, nope, it is a loan, not a grant. Big difference. Meanwhile, Deidre says, why is no one talking about the outrageous cost of a 4-year degree that universities charge students? It's a crime. And lastly, Susan says, no, this would put many colleges in danger of closing. They will appreciate their education more if they have to pay for it. Plus, they knew it was alone. So yeah, another surprising event of comments for you, Chad.
And like I said, Brian, it happens every once in a while. But as far as I go, so I do have student loan debt. I'm concerned about forgiving it to put us even more in debt as a country. So I think that's kind of where I stand. But I don't have like a mountain of debt like somebody who went to college for 8 years. So that's a different opinion.
I think we could easily classify student loan debt in the United States as crippling. I mean, 44 million Americans at last check have some kind of student loan debt, $1.5 trillion. It really can't add up. And I just saw on social media the other day someone who didn't realize how interest worked. So not only are people taking on student loans, they don't understand that they have to be paid back and that increases over time. So it's just a lack of education, I think, too, that's led to this.
Yeah, that would lead to problems as well. I think, in theory, it sounds great. And I know that folks that have a mound of student debt, they would really welcome this. I'm kind of with Chad a little bit. I'm concerned about where that money comes from and how it affects the economy. Sometimes you have to look, as they say, upstream to figure out how that's going to affect our economy overall. But if there's some way to do that, more power to them, because I know it is ridiculous, the amount of student loans out there. Let's talk about our forecast, shall we? Because we were mentioning some changes that would be coming up really in the next 24 hours. Overall, when you're talking about the rain that we had, that is a distant memory, right? That has moved on to the east. Heavier showers that we're seeing now off the coast, that will continue to move away. So we'll enter into a good slot as far as sky conditions go, but it is going to be cold, a little breezy this weekend. It will be a shock to the system. I know in January, we would probably pay money to get the temperatures we're going to have this weekend, but it will feel very cold to us, especially those overnight lows. That cold, crisp, clear air coming down from the north around the periphery of that high pressure, that will really cool us down. We'll be breezy too for your Saturday and maybe a little bit on Sunday. I think Sunday things may calm down a little bit, but the long range forecast, really the overnight lows is what you look at. Upper 40s Sunday morning and Monday morning, mid 40s on Tuesday morning, and that's the first day of fall there. We've got sunny to partly cloudy skies for all 7 days in our outlook. It is definitely a fall-like forecast, with the warmest day being next Friday, a week from today, at 77.
Whitney Houston said it best when she said, "I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way." And leading the way they are, because some kid entrepreneurs are holding a special Boss Baby pop-up shop in High Point this Saturday. WFMY News 2's Brian Bennett spoke with the event coordinator and a kid boss mom on what we can expect.
So you have the Boss Baby pop-up going down this Saturday. Please just let our viewers know, like, a brief overview of the event.
Okay, so we have 21 kid vendors, kid bosses, kid entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them. They're kids and they own their own businesses, and we're all coming together to showcase what they have for the community, so the community can come out and support them. My daughter is 4. She's the youngest. She's the owner of I Am Blessed Closet LLC.
The kids have to balance a lot. Obviously, they're doing like remote learning now, and they still got homework, and now they're running businesses, obviously. What's some advice that you can give to parents whose kid is definitely like interested in entrepreneurship?
Definitely take what they say and run with it. There are so many opportunities out here for kid businesses. There are so many grants. There's money out here for kid businesses. But when I came into it, I didn't know. I had to do my research, and I actually host workshops. And I have my next one is coming up October 18th.
So lastly, what do you truly hope to achieve through the Boss Baby pop-up shop going down this Saturday?
I hope that other moms, dads, grandparents, guardians come out with their kids and they see that it can be done. I hope that they go home and start brainstorming of things that they can do within their household to create generational wealth, because that's the ultimate goal, creating generational wealth.
All right, so that's happening this Saturday at the gallery on Main and High Point from 1:30 to 4:30.
Brian, what would you say was your favorite part of doing that interview?
My favorite part was just her enthusiasm. Her name was Krishanda. Her 4-year-old daughter's name is Blair, and she was just so excited. And it's just cool to know that she's getting the kids started early. You know, it's never too early to teach the kids how to get those coins, Chad.
And Eric, I know your youngsters, they're all the time having their own businesses, from lemonade stands to snack shops going on in the driveway.
Yep, Drew is forever. My 7-year-old girl is forever coming up with other ways to make money, which I love. And Brian's right. You start that really early, that stays with somebody a long time. Drew, as soon as she heard this story, when I was about her age, I wanted this little electronic device, and my dad, I think it was $30. My dad said, if you can come up with half the money, I'll give you the other half. So I immediately went out and did a toy sale and sold toys in the driveway, made my $15. My dad had to eat his words. So I told her that, and she did the exact same thing. That girl's an entrepreneur.
When was your first job, Chad?
My first job, I washed cars at a dealership, and I got paid just pennies, but it felt good to get that money, you know, and know that you worked for it.
Absolutely. And then you worked at a candy factory.
Candy store, yeah, and I gained a lot of weight working there, but boy, was it fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's chat about this. When folks were mad about the changes at the post office, what did they do?
Well, a couple of them protested, some right here in Greensboro, where the U.S. Postmaster is from.
That's right, protesting, that's part of the process to make our voices heard. It seems simple enough, right?
It does, because you want to be heard, maybe you want to make some signs and go to a location. You know, we've seen it happening for a number of issues.
All kinds, but just because we see it or we do it doesn't mean we all know the ins and the outs.
The idea of the Pro Bono Project is to inform people about what their rights are. There are all sorts of protests and rallies for all kinds of different issues, right? There are big climate change protests. There are protests in favor of human rights. So we're not just talking, it's spurred by the Black Lives Matter. I think that was the impetus for the research, but it really applies to people for a lot of different reasons, because the law is content neutral. It doesn't matter why you are on the streets protesting.
So there is so much to know about your rights and protesting. Wake Forest put together a guide. 40 students spent almost 500 hours compiling information for you. Now, this is useful for attorneys defending your rights and also for just the community, all of us as a whole, to know what our rights are. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we're looking at the common myths about protests and how to make sure that your rights are indeed protected. Hey, we have a big reason to smile today. That's right, it's Friday. Fall weather is on the way. What brings joy to you? Spend some time with 2 Wants to Know today. We're highlighting the things to make you smile at 5:30.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. It is National Cheeseburger Day. In case you didn't know, this should have been breaking news. Now I actually have a reason to eat one instead of just wanting to. Here's the burning question for you. I said, who has the best burgers in the triad? I knew this would get people all fired up for certain hamburger joints in their particular towns, and it did. So I asked you on Facebook, and here's what you had to say. Nicole said, I absolutely love Burger Warfare. Oh, I haven't been there in a while. That's a good one. Great burgers, she says, and such an amazing staff. Now, if you want to change, she said Five Guys is the place to be. My wife would agree with that. Larry Miller goes with the crowd here. He says Hops, that's always on there. But he says leave off the cheese for me, but he likes that pimento cheese on them as well. Jackie, this is it. I would say this is definitely top 3 in my book. Porterhouse Burgers. Eric Porter owns that place. They are incredible. They're in Greensboro. I would agree with you. Angela Hare says, why has no one talked about Cookout? You can't beat that price point. She's right about that. Candace Lee says, Skids Original Drive-In on North Church Street in Burlington. Ask for the Skids Special Burger. And Marcia says, Pawpaw's Place in Ashboro. I have never heard of that. We got to talk to Christian Morgan and find out about Pawpaw's.
I'm just taking all these notes about all these places that I've never heard of before.
We should save that script.
Yeah. So for me, if I was going chain, I would definitely say Five Guys. But if I was going for local, I would definitely say Hops.
Okay, I'm going to go Five Guys as well, just because of the fries. The ratio of burger to fries is insane, and they just keep dumping the fries in the bag, which is awesome.
Do you put the vinegar on it?
No.
Me neither.
Vinegar on fries. No,
I
not
like
for me.
that.
Where am I going? Oh, Big Burger Spot. Guy from Big Burger Spot. Oh, he hooks it up. And he's willing to put like different kinds of meats in the patty too. I'm really into that.
What about you, Sheldon?
You'll find Ed Matthews there. He loves Big Burger Spot.
Oh, I know. He used to eat it on the weekends.
Yeah, when I go in there, they'll say, hey, is Ed coming in today? I'm like, I don't know if he's coming or not. Yes, I do have to say Big Burger Spot. I forgot all about that. I like their hot dogs at Big Burger Spot, but it's not National Hot Dog Day. Sorry.
No, we already did National Hot Dog Day, remember? You did this.
I'll revisit.
Yes. The food guy is back.
I really love, have you guys ever had a bison burger? They are so good.
You can get it at Big Burger Spot.
You can get, really?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
I've never been to Big Burger Spot.
What?
You're going.
Okay, we're gonna have to go. Somebody take me.
Come on.
Go. All right, we're just gonna go. We'll see you guys. See ya.
Jeffrey, it's Friday. Thank you, thank you.
You know, the drive-through concept these days with all the COVID limitations is kind of the thing, right? Well, here is one for you. How about a drive-through art exhibit? Pretty cool here. I spoke with Leah Miller from the Creative Aging Network on how you can buy art right from the driver's seat. Hey Leah, thanks for talking to us today. So this event is really cool. Drive-through art exhibit, plus you're selling things. Tell us what it will look like if we come to this.
So what we are doing is offering an opportunity for people to get out of their houses for a little bit and do a little bit of shopping in a safe way from the comfort of their car. They'll just drive through. We have a little circle driveway around our gazebo in front of our building. They'll drive through and see the artist's table set up with the artwork. And if they're interested in purchasing any of the artwork, they'll just deal directly with that artist. We have 10 artists that will be exhibiting, so they'll have tables set out in our parking lot, and folks can just drive by, take a look at the artwork, and if they see something of interest, just ask the artist if they can look at it a little closer and then make the either cash exchange or PayPal or whatever the artist and the individual would like to do.
Tell us what the Creative Aging Network is all about. What do you guys do day in and day out?
So our organization really works hard to increase social interaction with older adults using the arts as a catalyst. Before COVID, we would go out into skilled care, assisted living, senior centers, anywhere that older adults gather and provide classes. Now we are offering virtual classes, so those communities can still participate. They can social distance on their end, and then we're really offering the safe alternative, so we're not sending anyone into that community. We're able to do it at a distance through computer technology.
Thanks, Leah. Always helping people, you guys are. Thanks for your time today. Good luck with that event.
I think
it's really great work.
Right.
I'm sorry, Chad, go ahead.
No, you go. This is your baby here.
No, I was just going to say it's really great work they do because they help the elderly to kind of express themselves through the arts. And one thing she didn't mention, they do a lot of work with some of their studies with the elderly. They share with colleges that are doing research on better helping all of us have better lives as we get older. So it's valuable research as well.
What I think is great about this, I love to support local just in general, but right now I kind of have an increased idea to try to support local. So I mean, it's a great opportunity to do something like that.
Right, and you get some beautiful artwork. Eric, I've spoken to this network a couple of times throughout the morning show and done interviews with them, and it really is very cool, and it gives them, an outlet.
Yeah, it is, and she said to me something that I'd never heard somebody in one of the nonprofits say. She said, we judge ourselves by what our clients say back to us later, and not so much when people, raising money is one thing. She said, but when someone calls you back and said, you know what, you made me happy. As I've gotten older, life has changed, sometimes not so great. And she said, this allowed me to really feel better about myself, and that's how you know you're doing a good job. All right, let's go to the forecast.
Hello, hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's me, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I did.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
actually.
Sweet pea old school along with Japanese cherry blossom. That was a big one back in my day.
Well, welcome back to your 4 to 5 and taking a look at your forecast. The remnants of Sally are finally leaving us, and in fact, we have a little bit of sunshine here in our weather garden at News 2. And you can see on the radar view, things are pretty quiet across the state of North Carolina. There's some rain and some storm activity well off the coast, and that is leaving off the coast with what's left of what used to be Hurricane Sally. As we head through the rest of the evening, we still have some clouds out there, and they will be stubborn. They'll be slow to clear, but slowly but surely we'll get rid of that cloud cover as we head through the overnight hours and into your Saturday morning. We'll start with some clouds and then end up with sunshine in the afternoon. Temperatures this afternoon, because of a little bit of sun, have warmed up into the mid and upper 70s. But that fall air is on the way. Check out the dew points in the 60s down along the coast, but they are in the 50s back to the west. And that cooler fall air is starting to move into the triad, and it will progressively as we head into your weekend. So tomorrow, starting out with clouds, more sun in the afternoon, and it will be much cooler and much less humid with highs in the lower 60s.
So, ladies and gentlemen, parents are complaining all the time about distance learning. I think it's time we heard from the teachers. So I did a little research in my 2 hours of wasted internet time when I should have been working on journalism. So I decided to make that my journalism. I'm going to let the teachers vent for a little bit. Here are some tweets, and since I'm talking about teachers, I'm going to put my glasses on and look smart. Here are a bunch of tweets from teachers during all this distance learning. Listen up, parents. You think we have it bad. Let's start out with Coach Comp, who says, are you telling me that you can figure out how to bypass the school Wi-Fi restrictions so you can Snapchat, watch videos, and play games all day, but you can't figure out how to log into a Google Classroom for a 30-minute assignment? Amy Silverberg says, just had Zoom office hours and a student asked if he could tour my apartment. No would be the answer. Hamilton says, the best part of teaching online is you cannot hear the kids not laughing at your jokes. Typical edu celebrity says, I do feel for those who relied on teaching to get their daily steps in. Yeah, that's not happening anymore, is it? Teacher's Goals says, homeschooling diaries. I wonder how many days in a row I can wear the same outfit before it's considered unprofessional. Ghostface Kryla, I think is how she says that, or Krilla. I missed being a teacher today, so guess what? I printed out all your tweets and circled all the grammar and spelling mistakes with a red pen. Nicely done. Teachers, you have our respect. And now we realize the sense of humor you have. Don't give up on our kids. Thank you. Please, please. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Many Guilford County parents are wondering, will elementary students go back to school early next month? This comes after Governor Roy Cooper said those students can return to classrooms full-time under Plan A.
Now it's up to the Guilford County Board of Education, and Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland spoke with her today on what a phased return could look like.
Dr. Sharon Contreras says the proposed plan will still include class size limits, even though Plan A says they don't have to. Elementary parents and students I spoke to say they're just ready to get back.
Don't want to wear the mask.